Okay, you've done the scripting, you've done the visualizing, you've done your go-to manifestation practice technique time and time after again, yet your manifestation is still not happening. What is going on? In this video, I'm going to give the not so talked about reasons as to why your manifestation may not be coming true yet and what you can do to support in your manifestation coming into fruition. So first off, I want to start with, have you ever noticed that the bigger the manifestation and the dream, the more that dream, that desire, that manifestation asks of you, it's almost like your manifestation, not almost like, your manifestation comes with codes to grow you and stretch you and expand your bandwidth and capacity to have and hold the energy of the manifestation you're asking for, whether it be love or abundance or whatever you may feel from that manifestation, joy, peace. And when you look at it that way, it's like, isn't that the juice, the essence of the human journey is to continue to grow and expand? So why wouldn't there be initiations and challenges in the manifestation process that you have to move through, walk through, grow through, step into, move through, where on the other side is your manifestation just waiting for you? It's like that visual and getting of, you've probably seen it on Instagram, and it's that little cartoon guy chipping away at the rock and the gold, or the gold on the other side of that chipping away is there, but he quits when it's like this much left and he went that far. So it's like, do you at this point have this much chipping away to go where your manifestation lies? Now, what's the chipping away part? Tuning in that your manifestation requires you to do and be your part. So what do I mean by that? Doing your part is the action, the taking the aligned action, the honoring the intuitive nudges, the taking the baby step and baby step and baby step and baby step, and compounding the movement and momentum in the direction of your manifestation and dream. Now, doing your part can also mean doing less, leaning back into that trust that you've done enough, because you can overcook a turkey and then you've just overdone it and now you can't even eat it. So we can overcook, we can overdo in the manifestation process. Like I had a client who was like, I'm scripting every day. And that was the energy, and it was from stress and pressure and force and push, and not in, I'm scripting and I love how it makes me feel and the energy and the vibe. There's a big difference. So notice and tune in when you are doing, if there's required action for your manifestation, if you're doing it from that clenching, that gripping, that worry, that you're not in the being, you're a human being. This is the being part. You're not in your beingness of the manifestation coming true. So it's not just what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. It's how your human is being in it. So tuning in to your manifestation, the one that's not happening, what is it asking you to be? Be in trust, be in gratitude, be in hope, be in joy, be in what energy? And really allow yourself to anchor and embody that beingness, that state. So ask a question, doing and being my part, what is it? And let the answers come through. Because if we're just doing the manifestation practices, but we're not honoring what the instructions from the manifestation, the desire is giving us, then we're missing the components, the ingredients of the manifestation recipe for your desire. The second reason why your manifestation may not be happening is, we hear this, it's pretty mainstream now, is subconscious blocks and limiting beliefs. And I want to just take this a step deeper and further, because it's not just about limiting beliefs, and we can kind of get in a trap of limiting beliefs always happening. Is tune into what the subconscious programs or strategies for you to get your emotional needs met when you were younger. So our subconscious is developed when we're younger, and if your emotional needs of love, validation, of feeling important, of worthiness were not met, we'll have this programming that we're not worthy, that we're not good enough, that these blocks of enoughness and worthiness, which is required for most manifestations. You're worthy of your manifestation. Actually, all of them, not most. Worthiness is required for all of your manifestation. Worthy of the love, worthy of the wealth, worthy of the abundance, worthy of the health, worthy of the thing you want or the feeling you want to feel. You have to really tune into if there's a worthiness block in your manifestation. So let any of these stories come out, or the conditions you've placed on yourself for what your manifestation is asking of you to have. And now if you have a story saying, I can't, I'm not good enough, it's not available to me, if there's something from your parents, really letting anything that's not yours go, like put it in a bubble and clear it and let it go and restore your worthiness. Now I have a whole video that goes into that. I will leave that in the description below, an inner child meditation that really brings you back to restoring worthiness, which again is required for all manifestations. And the other place is, we've talked about the challenges, the initiations. If there is a initiation, a opportunity that may look like not a, it's like a roadblock or a speed bump. It's, well, you're meant to go over it. If you're not accepting that initiation or that challenge and you just avoid it or distract yourself from it, like you'll notice what you're avoiding, what you're distracting, what brings up ick or pain or fear or even more doubt. That's what you're meant to work with. That's what you're meant to move through. So for example, one of my initiations for my dream of YouTube is to keep showing up when nobody is there and when it feels like nobody is listening. How do I expect videos to reach people, my channel to grow, if I'm not showing up? And when it feels like it's in the crickets and cringe phase, my challenge is to keep showing up with light, with my insights and activations and messages, and trust in my desire for a YouTube channel and the intuition to keep going and moving through the challenge. It's challenging when it feels like nobody is listening and nobody's there, and my mom and my boyfriend and a couple of my friends are my biggest cheerleaders and supporters. But that is my initiation to move through for this manifestation to come true. Like, it's so clear, and if you just take the time to sit and tune in to actually the deeper instructions and codes of your manifestation, it will be there. Like, it will be very clear. I also made a meditation for you to connect to your higher self for these instructions, for this intuition, pulses, nudges, visions. If you have a difficulty doing that, I'll also leave that in the description below. And yes, you can get a shout out. Hello, Louis Vuitton 400. And another reason will be divine timing. If you're forcing a timeline, trust that your manifestation has its own timing of when it is going to come to fruition, because it's like planting a seed and not letting that seed blossom and bloom on its own time. From pineapples to avocados to anything that you're planting, there's gonna be a different timeline and a different time frame. I actually think avocados take like a year, maybe longer. I don't know. Leave me a comment if you know the answer, but it's a long time. And we love instant gratification. We love when things happen right away. And that's not to say some of your manifestations won't happen right away, but if you give up on them, you don't stay in the energy of them and the trust in them, and you're unplugging, you're halting, you're stopping, you're blocking that process. So this timing, for example, the manifestation of my love of a power couple relationship, it took 7 years from the time I wrote it down in my notebook, the type of person I desired, and for them to come into my life. And actually to a T of what I wrote down of the qualities and the healing I did of healing subconscious things within love and worthiness, they came, they appeared in my life. And those 7 years were actually needed for me to grow, to heal, to expand, to have experiences and adventures, and to be aligned with my love. Trust in the divine timing of your manifestations. You'll look back when they do come into fruition and be like, oh, I can see why it took as long as it took. And the last one I'm gonna share, because we're already at 11 minutes here, is the desire, your manifestation actually requires more healing. So if we have a emotional wound within, just think of like a cut, a scar, a wound, and it needs tending to, and we haven't tended to it, then it's just gonna keep bleeding out. And we want to really allow the beautiful healing of perhaps our inner child or inner teenager that is in direct blocking of this manifestation. So it could have been a significant event, it could have been a relationship, it could have been something that happened in your past that your body emotionally, physically, mentally is still holding on to, and it's in direct opposition of your manifestation. So for example, if you have a desire for wealth and for money, yet emotionally you feel guilty, you feel shameful, you feel dirty, you feel gross to have money, to even ask for money and wealth, yet it's a desire of yours, notice there's like a lower level self and a higher self opposition. And going back, well, why do I feel this way? Where is the root of this? And tending to processing, clearing, upgrading, up-leveling that part of you that is in the opposition to your desire. And if it was money and wealth, it's like going back to that younger you, and maybe they learned this from their parents, that money is dirty and you should never ask for anything. Going back to them and telling them and letting them know that it is totally 100% safe, okay, wonderful and amazing to have your desires. And if it's for money, like really clearing all of that. Again, I have an inner child meditation that would support you with that, but just give yourself time to tune in and let the answers come through of what is required on your part to do and be for your beautiful manifestation that is just going to grow you. It's such a beautiful connection to restore with yourself, and your manifestation opens that for you. It's not just the practice, it's tuning in. Your manifestation can just take you deeper to yourself and open up so many windows and portals and gateways when we go deeper. All right, till next we meet, lots of love. How do I end this? I don't even know.